it's a good job. I love what I do. So that kind of counts out everything. But yeah, it can be
Yes.
quite tiring.
And what is it that you do, Helena?
Right. I'm a jack of all trades.
Love
I
that.
am a qualified counsellor,
Yes.
also clinical supervisor. So I also work with trainees and qualified counsellors.
Hmm.
Also a tutor. And I also do modelling work part-time, comedy sketches part-time.
Oh, wow. What's your favorite out of them all? Because you do a lot.
The favourite out of the all will be the counselling.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the supervision. So 1 minute I could say supervision,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
another time I would say the counsel, but the two have to stay together because in order to stay in the role of a supervisor,
Hmm.
you yourself have to be in private practice and keep it going.
Is that, do you, when you say supervisor, do you mean like supervising other counselors?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
when they've got their client work, they
Hmm.
have to bring it to someone who's
Hmm.
qualified and also is a qualified supervisor to make sure that they're working ethically. Also, they're keeping within the boundaries.
Yeah.
Also, they have a duty of care to themselves
Hmm.
and any kind of CPD work that they have to do to make sure that it's being done and
Amazing.
that are they well looked after. So
So
yeah.
you are, because I'm doing my counselling level 3 at the moment,
Oh
and I've
wow.
literally just finished one of the questions, and it talks about the benefits of receiving feedback and the benefits of that and how we receive feedback. And spoke about the fact that we have supervisors that, the benefits of that are that you're able to understand things that you need to change, where you're going wrong. So obviously to be a supervisor, you're high in the game because obviously
Yeah.
it's you've got that experience to offer other counselors as well.
Yeah, because I used to take on trainees myself
Mm-hmm.
and put them in placement and make sure
Oh
that they're
wow.
doing the work and everything else.
Yeah.
I've had to stop
Mm-hmm.
because the counsellors who I have working for me,
Mm-hmm.
they were trainees with me. I trained them up and they haven't left.
Oh, what, they haven't left you? Is that because they just can't? You're a good boss. They like
Oh,
working
I'm a
for you.
brilliant. I will make my head swell. I am a brilliant boss.
So if you've got your own business then
Yeah,
and hiring, so you've got your own counselling practice and you hire other counsellors
yes.
to work. Wow, that's
And I
amazing.
provide client for them to have as well. And we're like a family because
I
we
love
don't,
that.
it's not just about the work. We
Mhm.
will go out as well to celebrate like the year, or if it's someone's birthday, we'll make a fuss about it, or we have a day out or something.
I love that.
Yeah,
I've
so
never,
like it's my birthday in a couple of weeks. Well,
yeah,
actually, my birthday's on Saturday, but I'm
yeah,
going away to
yeah.
Marrakesh for my birthday to celebrate. So when I come back the
Mhm.
following Saturday, my daughter's organized it's supposed to have been a surprise birthday, but you can't hide things from me. I'm like a detective. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So we've got some of the workers and them are coming as well.
Oh, so you've created a nice family and
Yeah,
it's just going to be a big birthday celebration.
yeah,
Clearly treat staff members well. And this is what I think people in positions of director, that's all they need to do. I hear so
yeah.
often that their bosses don't treat them well and they end up leaving, and people end up losing good staff because they
Exactly.
can't treat them properly.
Yeah, and I always say your staff will stay if you treat them kindly. And I always say to them, just because I'm the boss and I've got more experience than them, doesn't mean to say that I can't learn from them as well. And
Brilliant.
I'm not any better than
Mm-hmm.
them. And
Mm-hmm.
they see that, I don't treat them any different. I'm there for them when they've got their own personal problems. I take time out to be with them. We'll meet up or they come to me. They say whatever they got their problem, and it doesn't matter what time. I've had one that's rang me 11 o'clock at night, and I'm there for them,
Wow.
and and that's what
You
it's
you
supposed to be.
genuinely care.
Yeah,
Mm,
because I always say treat people how you would like to be treated,
mm, mm.
and if I was to treat people horrible, well, number one, they wouldn't stay,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be sticking to what my beliefs are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because I always think about it. If you're so horrible to them, that can actually come back on you.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you said, they're not going to put the work in
Mm.
or they're not going to be as loyal to you as you would like them to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like some counseling agencies, they'll get counselors to work for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they also take commission off them as well.
Ah.
Yeah. I did used to
Mm-hmm.
do that. And then I thought, no,
Mm.
because technically I'm still doing their supervision.
Mm.
So they pay me for that. So why am I also taking money out of their pocket that they're earning? And I always try to get the best that I can get for them.
Yeah.
And I said to them, no, it's all. And they're going, you sure? And I'm going, yeah, you're doing the work, you keep it.
Mm.
And that's what I do now. So I don't even take a commission from them anymore.
Wow. That's really, yeah, that's really good of you, because you could, but you chose not to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because like I said, I used to do it,
Mm.
and I'll be honest, I don't know why.
Mm.
I just decided not to,
Mm. What do
because the
mm.
work that they do is, people think counseling, as you know for yourself now, you're doing the level thing. That's fabulous.
Mm.
They think it's just about sitting there and someone talking to you and just listening. No, because each person is different. You know, you could have the two people come about bereavement, but their experience and the way that they feel and the thought process will be completely different. So you can't treat that person exactly the same as the other person, because, as I said, their experience and the thought process and the emotions that go behind it will be completely different. So you
Mm.
could do that person more injury than good,
That's
and
so
that
true.
takes a lot. So I want my counselors to feel appreciated
Mm.
at the end of the day. So yeah.
And I think the
So
type of field that it's in as well, counseling, I think you can be like that, because I do understand bosses not wanting to be a soft touch. So it's like there has to be boundaries in place. There has to be some form of, but I think some bosses take it too far and really lead with fear, and they
yeah,
use fear as the tool to keep people in line. And it
definitely.
does,
Oh,
and some people it does work for, doesn't it? But I just
yeah.
don't think it's productive.
I mean, because I've got a supervisor, and I do her supervision for her, but she doesn't work for me. She's got her own practice. And
Mm.
the weirdest thing is, I actually taught her.
Mm.
And then she qualified. And then she said to me, she wants me to be her supervisor because I left the college. And I said, okay. And she works for an agency and they literally pay them pittance.
Mm.
It's really bad. And some of the client work that she gets, I said to her, you're crazy. I said, you've got to know your worth, and you've also got to know your value. And if you're going to say that you're going to take on a client and get £25 from it, when you know they're paying the agent about 50 quid, I said, where's your worth?
Yeah.
And she thought about it. She went, yeah, you're right. So she doesn't do it now. When people ask me why I got into counseling,
Mhm.
and I say to them about my background, they look at me and say, you went for all that. They would never thought about it. But yeah,
Because
you
that
know,
was going to be my next question. What brought you to counseling? Was it just a want and need to help people, or was it, things that you went through and then you were like, right, counseling?
I lost my mum.
Hmm.
Um, my youngest daughter at the time was 18 months old. And I waited until then to say, I'm going to go and visit my mum because they lived in Dominica, my parents.
Hmm.
And I said, I'm one of these mothers that I don't want my child that I can't hear or understand what they're trying to tell me. If I'm traveling long distance.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be on a flight for 8 hours,
Hmm.
you want to know your child can say, Mum, I need to go to the toilet, or Mum, I'm hungry, or da 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 da. So I waited until she was 18 months, and she practically was out of nappies anyway. So I was supposed to leave the Saturday. On the Friday, I got the phone call to say that my mum died.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I was very angry because I thought, you mean to tell me I spoke to her Thursday?
Hmm.
She didn't tell me she was ill or anything. Could you not wait one extra day to see your grandchild? You
Oh.
know,
Mm.
the last one at that as well for them. And not only that, because my dad found her collapsed, she had a stroke in the bathroom. He also had a mini stroke. So I've got three other siblings, two older sisters and a younger brother. And I had to arrange everything. They left it to me.
It's all on you.
Yeah. And at the same time, trying to see to my dad, who was also ill. And he couldn't even go to his own wife's funeral. So I had to go to the morgue, get her dressed, arrange for the coffin to come to the house so he could see her, chose the coffin, chose the flowers, do the hymns, order of service, the cars, grave diggers, the priest, everything on my own. And I
It's
came
a
back
lot.
I came back to England and I was angry,
Mm.
really angry at my mum because through going through her paperwork, she hadn't been to the hospital for over a year to take her medication. And she had high blood pressure and she was stage 2 diabetic. And the insulin did make her put a lot of weight on. But because she was in England when I found out I was pregnant. But obviously she didn't like the weight she put on. So she stopped taking the medication and that was part of what caused it. And I went to my GP and he said to me that I should have counselling. Oh no, and I ain't got time to sit down talking to people. I've got a little one to look after. What am I
Mm.
going to do with her?
Mm.
And he said, no, I can arrange for them to come to the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I went, oh, okay, fine. Anyway, it, I think it was about a couple of months it took. Counsellor phoned me. She came round, nice lady. And I had about 12 sessions, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so I felt better. And I said, you know what? I need to do something with my time.
Mm-hmm.
So I went evening classes because I was still married then. Went evening classes and I did child psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a lot from that. And then I decided I need to do something else. What else can I do? Because I just wanted to have my space
Mm-hmm.
from having two young kids and a husband who was like another kid in the home.
Mm.
So I decided, let's do the level 2 because donkey years ago I did the level 1, which is like the introduction course. So I did the level 2, which is more like the introduction now.
Mm-hmm.
Did that, quite enjoy it. The tutor said to me, why don't you do the level 3? And I went, really? And she said, yeah, I think you do all right. So I said, okay. Did the level 3, passed the exam. And then she said to me, right, you need to do level 4. And I went, no chance. So she said, no, because at that time I was working in a school as a
Mm-hmm.
learning mentor, as well as teaching social skills. And I said, the head ain't going to allow me to be out 2 days a month. I said, and it's 1 day a week. And at the end of the month, it's 2 days. I said, he'll go mad. So I thought, you know what? I'll go to the open day, see what it's all about, and then I'll ask the head.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I got a place in the college and I said, all right, I'm going to find out if my head will go. And I was so shocked that he said yes. And he said to me, why did you not tell me you was doing it, did the level 3 and that? And I said, because it was in the evening. So, you know,
Mm.
so he even offered to pay for the course.
Wow.
Yeah. So I done that. And the agreement was I do the course and I stay on at the school for another 2 years. And I thought I ain't leaving anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
done that. And it was hard. I'll be honest, it was hard work.
Mm.
But I learned so much about myself
Yeah.
that my whole persona changed. So the
Mm.
kids would say, we don't know when to take you serious anymore because we expect you to get upset, you don't. It's like, where's our mum? And I used to
Oh,
think I could
you've
fall in a
changed.
kind of shop. I
Mm.
really, oh my God, the slightest little thing. So I decided, so I did that. And then while I was doing that, my dad died
Mm.
literally a year later. And I went back to be with my dad.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
right in the middle.
right in the middle. And
Mm.
top of that, I had a young cousin who grew up with us. I used to call my little brother. He died. So yeah, it was a crazy year. And I remember going into college and asking the tutor for an extension on the coursework I was doing, but I didn't tell him why. And he said no. And I thought I always hand my work in before the due date. One time I'm asking for an extension, telling me no. I thought,
Mm.
fine. Anyway, I got it done and I presented it to the class, and everybody was like, yeah. And then someone told him what happened. And then he pulled me into the office and said, why didn't you tell me? I said, because I
Mm.
didn't want any sympathy. So he goes,
Mm.
that would have got you the extension. I said, that was not what it was about. You know, so he
Mm.
said, you're a better person than me because I would have taken time off. So he said, that shows what a strong person you are. I
Yeah.
thought, okay. And then I did my dissertation on why men don't say they get beaten, because it
Interesting.
was men who suffered domestic violence. And then you're thinking back 22 years ago, you never
Mhm.
heard of it.
No.
And I decided to do it on that, and it passed. And I was the first to actually pass in my class as well.
Wow. Helena.
And I
Yeah.
thought, right, I got to do this. So I set myself up as a sole trader, started working from home. And then within 2 years, I got premises, I got myself a PA who was actually a client.
Mhm.
And I got her to come and work because she'd gone through a lot.
Mm.
Got her to come and work for me. I sent her to go and do the level 2 so she had an understanding of it.
Mhm.
And I went down to 3 days a week. And then I think it was about 6 months later, I then said, I've got to have my notice in.
Yes. Yeah.
They were not happy about it.
No, no, no.
What if
They
it
don't want
don't
to lose
work?
you.
And I went, it
Mm.
will work. And even my
Love
family,
that.
apart from my middle sister, they all thought I was crazy
Mm.
giving up and a regular income coming into nothing. And I said, I have belief in myself,
Mm.
and I know God will keep me going.
Mm.
And yeah, I had 26 trainee counselors.
Wow, Helena, you were on fire. You were just like, this is go. Like,
Yeah.
there's no, this
And
is what
my
it
name
is.
was known, but they never knew who was behind the name.
What's one of the most common issues you can see? Obviously, I know you can't get into the details and stuff, but what would you say is one of the most common issues that people face, that people come to you with in counseling, that you can see is like a real um you know something that people struggle with? Mainly, I'll probably say, like, I'm 34 now, so like for the younger generation.
Would you believe relationships?
Yeah.
Having relationships, um, and also about their sexual partners, because I'm
Mhm.
also a qualified sex therapist as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to do training for that, and that was but I did it.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm a qualified sex therapist as well.
What does that
And
mean, Helena?
sorry,
So like, what does that actually mean for those that, because I just see a sex therapist and I think, okay, does that mean
low sex drive, those
ah,
issues
okay.
around sex,
Ah, right, okay.
um, those who are particularly a virgin, never had done sex, and
Mhm.
like they're in a relationship now.
Mhm.
So basically, because like I had one guy and he was 34,
Mhm.
mid 30s anyway, never had a girlfriend,
Mhm.
wanted to have a girlfriend. And I had to talk him through why he's never had a girlfriend and everything else. Um, very low self-esteem. If I said to him, could you go out there and wash my car for me? And it's pouring down with rain, he wouldn't even say that. He would just go and do it. That's how bad
Okay.
he was. Now on his second relationship, and he's been with her for about 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, he's not a virgin
Yeah.
either.
Mhm.
I also have taught him how to be proactive in the relationship. Don't wait for the female to put her arms around you or hug you. You now have to say, because he wasn't doing it. So now
Mhm.
you have to do that. Also, like to make birthdays and things like that special, you know.
Ah,
And
I
yeah,
see.
he's now if I was to say to him that go and wash my coat, God, excuse me, He's so changed.
So do you think he was just at the command of what anybody would ask him to do? Just yes, yes, okay.
Yeah,
Wouldn't question anything.
no.
Mm.
Because he has an older brother, and the older brother went to Cambridge.
Mhm.
So he was the apple of the parents' eyes. And where he didn't even leave school with even a GCSE or CSE or whatever it was at that time, he'd had nothing.
Mm.
And he was just working in a car wash at the time. Now works for the post office, but he was working in a car, just doing the car wash, the cars. And they never took him serious. So he thought he was nobody.
Oh.
Yeah. Even from his parents. He thought it was no one. His brother used to talk, oh my God, really down to him.
Mm.
And I helped him to build up his confidence
Mm.
first. We worked on that. And I said to him, look, at the end of the day, your brother or
Mm.
anyone else are only going to treat you how you allow them to.
Mm.
You don't stand up for yourself and say, look, I don't like that. It didn't make me feel good. Or I didn't like when you said, da, 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 this is how I felt.
Mm.
They're going to keep on doing it because you're allowing them to do it. And sometimes they don't realize because it's a joke to them that the pain is actually causing you. So you
Yeah.
speak up. I said, and when your brother torments you and say you're nothing, you tell him you
Mm.
are something. You are somebody.
Mm.
Like, because if you was nothing, you wouldn't be here. And just
Yeah.
because he's got a better paid job than you and he went uni doesn't mean to say he's any better than you because you are somebody. And it was, oh, I can't say that. Oh no, da, 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 da. Oh, he can now.
I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm so
Oh
happy
God,
for
yeah.
him. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, there's times I say to him, I'm proud of him because he
Yeah.
still comes every so often for other
Does
little
he?
things. And
Yeah.
I'll say to him, I'm proud of the development that you've made on yourself.
Mm.
And
I'm
he goes,
happy
oh,
for him.
yeah, with your help. And I went, no. I
Mm.
said, you did it. I said, I give you the tools.
Mm.
You take the tools and you use it in the best way that you can. I said, if you just put them in your box and don't use them, then you're not going to get any better, are you? I said, that's like you being a plumber and you come to fix the taps and you
Mm.
haven't got a spanner, then you ask me for a spanner. If I ain't got one, then how are you going to do the work?
Mm.
Right. I
Exactly.
said, so I can give you all the spanners you want, but you're the
Mm.
one that knows how to use it and which way to use it to tighten the pole and everything.
Mm.
And he went, oh, yeah. He said, and I said, yeah, I know. I come up with some quirky ways of explaining things, but it has a meaning at the end, you
Mm.
know. And that's what makes me like what I do. But yeah,
Mm.
because I do a lot of couple counseling now. It's just,
As well. Couple counseling. Wow.
yeah, there's just so many out there, young, middle age, even older generations, been together just for the sake of making sure that their children have grown up and got their own life. Then they go for a divorce or they start having all
Ooh.
these little limits because there's no one else there for them to cater to.
Mm.
So it's just them and the wife. And like sometimes the wife wants, like one I had, the wife wanted to get a part time job as a cleaning lady in a school. And he wasn't doing anything. And he resented her for it. Really, oh God, yeah.
He resented her for
Yes.
wanting to get a job?
And got the job. He made her life a misery. And I remember when I went round there to do the assessment, because that's another thing we do. We do home visits because sometimes people are more comfortable in their home. So we'll
True.
do a home visit to
Wow.
make sure it's safe and everything else, and then the counsellors, and then we'll go. And I remember when I went there, I rang the doorbell, and he answered the door. Oh my God, the look he gave me because he must have knew who was coming. And I asked if she was in, and he said yes, through there.
Oh, all
Said,
right.
and
Okay.
I said to her, I said, sorry, I don't mean to like rock the boat, but is everything all right? She said, yeah, why? I went, I got kind of a frosty greeting from your husband, I believe it is. He said, oh yeah, that's him. He doesn't like the idea that I'm doing something for myself.
He doesn't like her. Like she's in there. Like, do you actually what? Do you like her? Do you like your wife?
Thank you. All he was interested in is his gardening.
Oh dear. What
Yeah.
was the point in? I would ask him, why are you with this woman? That would be my first question. What is? Why are you with her? Why?
Yeah. But he didn't come into the session at all. She asked him
Wasn't
and he wouldn't
interested.
come. So then the session was just about her and
Mm.
her getting over some childhood stuff as well, because she then lost her mum as well about, I think it was about a year afterwards she lost the mum,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't supportive. Now the counsellor turned around and said to her, "Are you surprised?"
Mm.
And I said to the counsellor, "You didn't?" She said, "Yeah." I
Yeah,
said, "How
yeah.
did she take it?" She said, "She was all right." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, because sometimes we may be thinking things and without thinking it, we just say it. But we
Mm.
have to remember the headspace the client is in. Because
True.
you've had this long working relationship with her, doesn't mean to say that she's going to take you just like that.
Yeah.
Something. So you still got to be mindful how
Mm.
you come across with certain things you said. I said, this time you were lucky. I said,
Yeah,
but
look.
try to think before because it could have gone another way. And she
What
said,
was her reaction?
um,
So it
it's a
went down
custom.
okay. Yeah.
She said, it's habit.
Yeah, because more importantly, I was going to say, ask him why he's with her, but also why is she still with him?
Hers was habit.
Habit.
They've been married something like, oh God, what was it? I think it was, I can't remember because it's quite a while back. It was either 40 something years or 50 something years they've been married.
Comfort.
Yeah, basically it.
That's all they
You
know.
know, I usually have this saying, you pick up the ornament from the shelf,
Mm.
and when you're ready, you give it a good dust and say, oh yeah, you're looking good today. And then you put it back down there, and then it's about another week or so before you come and check on it again. That's
Mm.
their relationship. It's just comfort.
It's just comfort. Just it's all we know, you
Yeah,
know.
rather than being on their own, they
Mm.
stay with what they know.
Some people are, I do think there are a lot of people that are in relationships that they just, that's all they know. And they're too scared to step
The
out of
change.
to step out into the unknown and try something different because it's just the fear of what might happen
Yeah,
or what might
definitely.
not happen.
It's
Mm.
like when I decided, because it was my dad, just before he died, 2 weeks before he died, my dad said to me, "Why am I with my husband? My ex-husband, I should say now." And I went, "Because of the kids." And he went, "Pardon?" I said,
Mm.
"I've not come from a broken home." I said, "And my kids are too young for that. And I don't want them to be on their own." And he turned around and he goes, "Hells, all I'm going to say to you is, you've got two girls, young girls. You will not be the first and you will not be the last to bring up the kids on your own." He
Mm.
goes, "What is it your mother used to say to you?" And I went, "Mum used to say a lot." So he went, "What is the point in having a man who can't do anything for you? What is the point in being with him?" And I thought about it and I thought, you know what? He is right. Why
Mm.
am I with him? All we do is argue and fight.
Mm.
And even though I would wait till the kids were in bed,
Mm-hmm.
and then one day my eldest one, she was only 11 at the time, and she said to me, "Mum, why are you with Dad?" And I went, "What?"
Wow.
She said, "You heard me." So I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Don't think because we're upstairs in bed that we can't hear what's going on."
Mm.
And I thought, shit. I went, okay. So she said, "Look, if you're worried about me and the little one, don't." She said, "She's too young to know anything, but no." And I thought, you know what? What am I teaching, that it's okay to be in an abusive relationship? No, I'm stronger than that.
Mm.
So I then told him that I wanted a divorce. And he thought I was joking at first.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I went, 2 weeks later, I went to him, "So what are you doing about moving out?" So he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I told you I want a divorce. I'm not joking." "Oh, I thought you was just saying." So I went, "No." I said, "You know what? I'll give you 6 months to find somewhere and then you're out." Anyway, to cut a long story short, he then decided to stalk me, which I wasn't aware of until much later. And he used to threaten the kids that if you tell your mum, I'll beat you. Because he would get, so if I said I was going to a certain club or an event, He would take them in the car and go and look to see if he sees my car and then come back home. Then I was going out with a friend of mine who knew a group of guys. So doing the decent thing, I said to him, oh, by the way, I'm going out with Anna and she knows these guys from her country.
Mm-hmm.
But before one of your mates might see us and think, oh, I'm letting you know. Me being truthful and respectful to him. He then decided to, next minute, I know my car tires started getting slashed, windscreen mirror, wipers getting slashed, mirror broken off, scratches on my car, couldn't work it out. Anyway, we used to go to this pub and we used to go there, play dominoes and things like that. Anyway, next minute, I got a phone call from one of the guys. This is about 3 months into, I told him I want a divorce. Mm-hmm. And he said he had the police that around the house. And I went, you what? Why? And he went, because somebody turned around and told them that we've been talking about a murder case. I went, what? What are you talking about? And I've had to give them your number. I said, well, that's fine. I've got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was picking up the eldest from school and the youngest was just like in the buggy. And I got the phone call and they said it's CID. They need to make an appointment to come and see me. And I went, okay. Did you get a phone call from Mr. So-and-so? And I went, yeah, I've been expecting your call. So I arranged with one of my neighbours to have the kids. They came round the following day. And I'm telling you, Teen, you will not believe it. Mm-hmm. He wrote 2 anonymous letters, 3 phone calls telling that I knew about the murder case and we were discussing it in that pub that we used to go to. And I had 2 CID in my house.
He's crazy.
They said to me, here's the letters. And I went, that's my husband's, right? And they looked at each other. And I went, well, soon to be ex-husband. And they went, pardon? I said, yeah. I said, he's only here for a few months, but I'm filed for divorce. So they said to me, if they can keep the letter, if I've got anything to match. And I went, yeah. So an old letter that he had done when we first started dating and that I still had, it was a match. They asked where he's working, what car he's driving. I even showed them a picture of him. And they caught him coming down the stairs of the building. And at first he denied it, and then he admitted it. And then they phoned me to say, do I want to prosecute for like what he's done? And I went, no, because I'm not going to be responsible for my kid's dad being in prison. So anyway, he said that they have told him that they're going to inform me. So that night, normally he gets home between 6 and half 6 from work. It was after 7. And at that time, I was just doing a little part-time job for like, a bit like Anne Summers, but without the naughty bits. So,
yeah. So you were living together. You were living together still.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, he came in and I said, look, I've got a party to go and do. But when I come back, I don't care what time it is, we're talking. Anyway, I got back about 11:30 at night and I came into the living room because he was sleeping on the sofa bed. Came into the living room and he's trying to pretend he was asleep. I said, don't even try. You best wake up. Anyway, at first he denied it. Then he admitted to it. And I said to him, why? I've only been fair with you. Why do that to me? And he said, because he was afraid of losing me.
But he wanted to send you to prison.
Meaning nobody else would have me then.
There you go. I don't want you, but I don't want anyone else to have you.
So I said to him, right, I'm taking the girls away this weekend. And when I come back, I want your stuff out of my house. I said, when you first moved in with me, you had no suitcase. You came with your black bags. There's a roll of black bags under the stairs. Take them and move your stuff out. Anything you leave, I will chuck out. And I came back, he moved out. I got a friend of mine to come and change the locks because I weren't taking no chances because I know he's the sort of person that would cut another set of keys.
Crazy.
And I still maintained that he saw the kids every other weekend, had time with them. And even if it's their birthdays or Christmas, I'd take turns that he happened for Christmas Day or New Year's Day. And a lot of my family and friends went, how did you put up with all that? And how come you never said anything? I said, they go, we would come round and we wouldn't even know. I said, because that's not who I am.
Mm.
At the end of the day, if I can't handle something, then fine. And my brother said to me, how could you have stayed in there and not say? I said, because I know what you're like. You would have beaten him up. And then what? You would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
Because he's the sort of person that would have said that he done it.
Mm.
So I said, so at the end of the day, what was the point? And they said, so how are you going to cope? I went, what do you mean? But no way did it. I went, hold on a moment. Who do you think's been doing everything in his house? I said, all he
Yeah.
ever did was pay the rent and pay the
Yeah.
monthly shopping. That was
Yeah.
it. Gas, electric, telephone bill, Sky, all that lot, I was paying.
You
What?
were doing everything anyway. Yeah. You
Yeah.
didn't lose, you gained.
So I said, so at the end of the day, I'm not losing, I'm not missing out on anything. I can cope. And yeah, I did.
It isn't easy though. People do say, it isn't easy, even if it is habitual, even if it was love first and then it turned into habitual. It isn't easy leaving somebody that you love. It
No.
isn't easy. So it's a process, isn't it? And you
Especially when you
clearly,
had 10 years of marriage.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It isn't easy, and I completely empathize with anybody that is put in that position with children, because it isn't easy, because
Yeah. And
they're
you know
going
the
to lose a
worst part,
dad.
right?
And
I would ask him money to get the
yeah.
kids them school clothes or things like that, right? I would have to give him the receipt. So he would give me 50% back. If I bought a pair of shoes that cost £25, he want the receipt before he gives me the £12.50. And I never took him to CSA. And then one day I asked him to get the little one a pair of shoes because she came home and she had a hole in it. And he was having her that Saturday. Came home. I reminded him, oh, I forgot. So I said, what do you mean you forgot? Well, she didn't remind me. I said, it's not her job to remind you. I told you. And she was only, 5 at the time. So I said to him, look, tomorrow when you come to get her, make sure you get her a pair of shoes. Again, he didn't do it. And it's lucky she had some birthday money because I had to save it in her little savings account. So I drawed out some money, got her a pair of shoes. And at the end of the month, he came and gave me £20. And this man turned up at my door with a pair of trainers that cost over £100. And I went, and when I asked you a fortnight ago to get her some trainers, you can't get her. I mean, shoes for school, you couldn't get her. And you wait another 2 weeks to come round to give me 20 quid. I went, you will pay for that. And then I reported him to CSA. And then you know what he did? He packed in his job so he wouldn't have to pay.
So everything has to be on his terms. It's
Yeah.
like, if it's not on his terms, it's not happening. And he packed in his job to avoid CSA.
Yeah. And then, but what he didn't realize is in all the months and that he didn't go to work, his debt was piling up with him. I didn't even know that. So when he finally did get a job, they taxed his money and made sure I got it. And but what I didn't know is my youngest started self-harming. And I couldn't understand why. So the GP put us in for family counselling. And it came out through that he used to beat her with a buckle.
And oh.
I couldn't understand it. Every time he brought her back, she was chaos. And it would take me about another couple of weeks to get her to calm down. And then it would be all over again.
So this was happening when he used to have her and then bring her back. You were none the wiser what was going on. And then you
And she wouldn't
realised
tell me because he said he will kill me.
that
And
is so he's manipulating your daughter to not even say anything about it.
No. And I couldn't believe it. Could not believe that you would do that to your own child.
Very,
Not to
very,
say she
very
was a
sinister.
mistake or anything. She was planned. Both my kids were planned. We sat down and we spoke. Yeah, I don't get him. So we don't talk now. My daughter herself doesn't have nothing to do with him. The older one does. But the youngest one, no, because she saw too much what he did to me once on the street. Where he dragged me along the car door and things. So yeah, she don't forget anything. She's like an elephant. She don't forget. and that's her choice. I've never had any input on that. That's her choice. And because of that, that's what made me as well say I've got to make a success with this counseling, because I need to I want my children to have a future where they haven't got to struggle for things like how I started out.
Yeah.
And I build a business, and I show them that at the end of the day, you don't need to be in a relationship or have a partner for you to succeed in life. Put your mind, and it's not because you've got children, is why you can't do it at the end of the day. So I'm glad that they do look up to me, and they try to like better themselves as well. Because like the eldest one now, she's teaches in primary school, and the youngest works for the NHS.
Brilliant.
So
yeah.
they're doing, they're doing good.
They're doing well. They're doing
Yeah,
well.
I mean the youngest, we're like best mates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's my best friend and I'm her best friend.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I showed them that at the end of the day, regardless of what your background is or what you've been through, if you put your mind to it, yeah, it's not easy when you got young kids. But if you got good friends and neighbors, they help. Because one of the neighbors used to look after the younger one when I used to go to college in the evenings. So I can't be a bad neighbor for that
No.
as well. Yeah. But I taught them at the end of the day, you don't need to have someone else to be with you to make something
To
of
be
your life.
successful. Absolutely. That's exactly what you've shown them. You've shown them how you can turn something very, very bad into something beautiful at the end. That's
Yeah.
what you've shown them. Like you've overcome so much adversity that on the other side of it, look at what you're doing now. Like you got your own counseling practice, all of these people, you're changing people's lives left, right, and center, all because of your experience.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
powerful.
100%.
That's powerful. That's powerful stuff. And what an example that is, because nobody's perfect. So everything that you've been through,
Yeah.
So
And I'm not perfect. Far
no.
from it. But I don't, what I've taught myself is, and I teach my children that as well. Some things happen in life and we don't always have the answers. But if you hold on to it, it will make you bitter. Because I'll never forget, the youngest was in year 9 and she was always getting into fights. And there was not a month I wasn't up to school. And one day she sat there and she went, Mum, why do you not hate Dad? And I went, what? She went, why do you not hate Dad? I hate him for what he's done to us. And I went, no, don't. I said, because it'll make you a bitter person. I said, and that's why you're struggling. All that hate you have, put it into your schoolwork. Don't hate. And that year was her best year in school as well. And I said to her, because what happens is you invest that in you and it grows. And all you can talk about is that same thing over and over again, to the point people ain't going to want to know and be around you. Because every time we see you is blah, blah, blah. This is what he did. And they get fed up of hearing it. You have to move on. Yeah. Learn from it and take it as an education, not as something as a mistake. As long as you can learn from it, it's an education. And that's what I say to them. That's what I say to anyone. At the end of the day, we all go through some trauma in our lives. And if you ask 10 counselors, I can guarantee you 9 of those counselors has had their own trauma. And that's what made them go into counseling.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them also a good counselor, because they've been there and they know what it's like. And that's why I always, people like, when you do the level 4, oh, why we got to be in counseling? Da, 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 da. I went, well, how are you going to know how your clients are going to feel if you've not been in?
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And I went, that's why. You have to have counseling so you know what it's like. So when they come to you, you know exactly how uncomfortable they might feel. So you make them feel at ease. Yeah. And they could never understand. This is the other logic one. And that might come up in your level 3. When a client comes to you and they're crying, never offer them a tissue. Put the box there so they can see there's some tissues. If it's out of the way, take the box and put it there in front of them. Do not offer it. Why? Because if I don't offer you a tissue, what am I saying to you?
Okay, let me think. What am I saying to you if I offer you a tissue? Help. I'm offering you help. Sympathy.
Mm. You're telling me to
I'm
stop
out.
you're telling me to stop crying and dry your tears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're shutting them dead when you do that. So if they want the tissue, let them
Mhm.
take it themselves. They can see the box. They can help themselves. Never offer a tissue to a client because you're basically telling them stop your noise, and you would never see it like that. You just
No, I wouldn't. No,
helpful by giving them a tissue.
I'd
But
just be like, oh, okay. Do you want a tissue? Like, oh, you
yeah,
know.
it's a normal reaction to do
Mm,
it as well. Oh,
mm.
do you want a tissue? But no, you're basically saying,
I never. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
yeah. When you
Okay.
look at it from the outside,
Yeah.
that's what you're doing. And I thought, yeah. I remember
That's
when my tutor
interesting.
told me that, and I thought it makes sense actually.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. So
Actually, yeah, yeah. Now you've said it, I'm thinking, yeah, 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 yeah. It's like, stop.
see, so we all learn from each other. You
Every day
know,
is a school day. That's what I say,
that,
Helena.
thank oh,
Every day is a school day.
it's true because it's like I say, we can learn from our clients
Hmm.
because the experience that they bring to us.
Hmm.
We may get another client 6 months down the line and we will know exactly how they're feeling to an
Hmm.
extent, but better still, how to work with them because we've already done it and we've kept that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. I've I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking with you, Helena. But we're just up to an hour now. I could speak to you for hours.
I do.
I can speak to you for hours. But I've got somebody literally waiting. I've got one
All
at nine
right.
o'clock as well. So
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sort of doing them back to back, and I'm like, yeah, the meeting's already started, but we've got a 5 minute buffer.
Right.
So, yeah, it's been very, very interesting hearing your story and how you've overcome so many things. And I'm just thinking, wow, you've accomplished so much, you've been through so much, and you're giving back to the world in such a huge way. And I hope anybody that's listening can take something away from what you've been through and how you've overcome that as well. If you could give one piece of advice to anybody that's listening, doesn't matter, it's not age discriminatory, it's anybody, one piece of advice, what would you give?
Remember that you're stronger than you know.
Oh, gave me shivers.
Yes.
I love it,
Yeah.
Eleanor. It gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yes, I love
Um,
that.
I'd be more than happy to do this again on any other subjects or topics.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that we should, because I would love to hear more. There's a few things that you said, and I would like to expand on those, but I feel like it would be better if it was just isolated, like and separate video.
Right. Yeah.
Because we've just like sort of over briefed it, haven't we? But I would love to get you back on if you're willing. That'd
Oh,
be
yes.
great.
I'm willing. Definitely.
Yes, yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for
And
speaking with me
thank you
today.
so much as well. And I hope, even if it's only one person it helps, I'll be so happy about that.
100%. I definitely think that you will. Your story will. So
Okay.
thank you for
Excellent.
sharing that with
Thank
me.
you and stay blessed.
Yes, and you, Helena.
All
Lovely
right then.
speaking with you.